here, welcome to our channel, Miles and Moments Vlog. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, and share our videos. My name is Kayla.
And I'm Brandon Dominique.
And we have started our nomad journey. We're currently in Europe, and we finally been able to sit down to recap what our stay in Athens was like. We did make it to our next destination, which is Istanbul, Turkey. But before we get into all the beautiful things that we've experienced in Turkey so far, we definitely want to update everyone about how our lived experience was in Athens, Greece.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all 90 of our subscribers who have supported. We're on our way to 100, and that is big for us because this channel has only been like a month long. For us to have the support and love from everyone around the world is super exciting, and we appreciate it all. But like Kayla said, we have just come from Athens, Greece. We're currently in Istanbul, Turkey.
Mhm.
But we want to just talk about what our experience was. This is our first nomad journey.
Mhm.
Um, we're making the best out of it and making sure that we, are reminding ourselves how blessed we are
Mhm.
through the trials and tribulations, pivots, and fun.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Everyone has been so supportive of us and helpful over here in
Mhm.
Europe, whether it's in Athens or wherever we are. Our taxi drivers, grocery store clerks, coffee
Mhm.
baristas. Shout out to everyone who has made this seamless for us.
Yes, I think coming into this nomad journey, there were definitely things that I knew that I wanted to be prepared for. But I mean, as is life, there are just some things that you don't know until you know. So, being as fluid as possible, being willing to pivot, having confidence and courage, and trying to stay as positive as you can when life throws you curveballs, or when something happens that you may not have planned for, to just do the best that you can to make the best out of the situation. And this nomad journey thus far has been just that. Like, we're definitely, having a great time exploring and getting to know more people in different cultures and just different ways of life. But it's definitely been pushing us outside of our comfort zone and having us grow as individuals and as a couple. And we're just really grateful for the experience.
And also, just having a partner in crime to do this with has been a blessing, and I'm so lucky to be able to um, just go on this journey with someone who I love and trust, and has made this whole process easy as well. I can't imagine if I was doing this by myself. So, shout out to Kayla for going on this journey with me, and us just experiencing this together
Mhm.
for sure.
And same, and same. Brandon and I are and have always been very ambitious people. We were that before, we got together. So again, to be able to experience this together, it just means so much more. And to have a partner that you can be aligned with on things, and you know, that just wants to share the same experiences, and just elevate your life. Like, it's a blessing to have someone to do this with. Not everyone's able. So definitely grateful for you.
Thank you.
Not to get all mushy, but
You
you
every
know
once in a while it's
yeah.
necessary.
Capricorns get mushy too. um
But getting into all of the things, going into Athens, Greece, and telling our family and friends that we're moving was just like a huge eye opener for us because we didn't realize what we actually was getting into.
yeah.
But traveling, we started out in Chicago and
Mhm.
traveling to London for one stop, and also finally Athens International Airport. And the time difference has been crazy this entire time.
Yes.
When we first dropped into Athens, it was the following day. So we were, I think, 8 hours ahead of what we're used to. So
Mhm.
even now, I still haven't, or we still haven't gotten used to the time difference. We again, our well, now we're 9 hours ahead in Istanbul, Turkey. But in Athens, when the first month and a half, it was just every day adjusting to our sleep schedules and with everything we know and used to
Mhm.
being 8 hours behind and understanding that we were kind of living in the future. It was
Yeah.
uh total like mind bomb
Yeah.
to understand that.
Hmm. Yeah, the 8 hour time difference, even with us wanting to adjust, our bodies, we gave into it having to be like, it had to naturally happen, like, of course, we had planned to get up early and do things like that, which we did, but it was much more of a challenge. Like, it was some nights and still that I wouldn't go to sleep until 3 4 a.m. in the morning, just because 3 4 a.m. here is still, evening, or early evening back home. So it's definitely been an adjustment. We're almost 2 months abroad.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be 2 months on the ninth. So it's just going to take some time. So that's definitely something to consider or be mindful of, when you're traveling, whether you're going on a short vacation, but especially when you plan on being abroad for a while.
I want to highlight the difference in prices.
Mhm.
Usually in the United States um, or back home, average coffee date or getting coffee in the morning will cost us upwards of like $12, $13.
Mhm.
But here, for my Americano and her cappuccino or a latte or
Yeah, I switched mine up, but
or whatever she gets, it usually
yeah.
just comes out to about $5 or so. But it's something that I was surprised and also grateful for, just not
Mhm.
having to pay as much for small things like coffee. Also, like when we went grocery shopping in Athens, the grocery store we shopped at was called Little,
Little. I
L
think that's
I
how you
D
pronounce
L
it.
L I D L,
Hmm.
and again, those small things that make a big difference.
Just the price difference for what you're getting for the quality of things was very like eye opening for us. And you do have to be mindful when living abroad of having some type of budget, as far as emergencies, and even more so with being so far away from home. So when we considered things like grocery shopping or the things that we like to do, on almost a daily basis, like drink coffee and stuff like that, we were very like mindful of how much we were spending. So
Yeah.
to see that everything was, pretty reasonably priced, was great.
Yeah, and it was easy for us, I think, to adjust because things
Mhm.
were one fourth the price of what we would pay or half the price we would pay back home in the United States.
Mhm.
So in our first Airbnb, we cooked as well as dined out a few times as well. One thing I want to talk about is immersing yourself in the culture. And
Mhm.
Athens, Greece, we didn't like stay in a hotel or in the good parts. We really dropped ourselves in the heart of Athens, Greece,
Mhm.
in like the urban areas where we took the metro to
Mhm.
Monastiraki, and
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. Shout out to the Asian lady who helped us on our first journey on the metro. We didn't know what we were doing. We
Mhm.
didn't know how to pay for a card. We didn't know how much we would pay. We didn't
Mhm.
know what direction we were going.
Mhm.
But we did do the research to know what stops to get on and off at. But that whole journey, again, just taking the metro throughout the city and exploring was an eye opening to how other people live. And with us coming from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, things like that really don't bother us because we're city people.
Right. Right. I think that's one of the things that I am, seeing as a benefit, because even when we lived in the States, we explored, we traveled, often. So that has worked to our benefit. I think a lot of things don't scare us or are not as, fear based in a sense, just because of, what we've been through in our life. So that will differ depending on what your upbringing is and all of that. But just something to consider when you, um, decide to either live abroad or visit abroad. We were definitely intentional about immersing ourselves into the community. For us, coming here was about learning about the culture and learning how we can show up and be a resource and an advocate just like we were back home. And with that, it's about respecting people, respecting their space. We're not from here. We want to support, so with going to the coffee shops, with walking around, we made sure that we were polite. We learned different words that we could let them know that we were trying, to speak their language. Hi, bye, and thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. You want to try thank you? It's Epharisto.
Yep. Epharisto is thank you in Greek language, and Kalamera is good morning, which Kay kind of struggled with.
I was saying calamari. It was, no.
Calamero, all of them.
They appreciated it though because we gave them a good chuckle our first go arounds. We're trying to say stuff, but they appreciated the fact that we were trying. So I would advise or suggest that you at least learn the things that are going to be commonly said as you have conversations with people when you travel abroad,
or just everyday life things that you need to say, like excuse me, thank you, hello, just polite things to do. One trick that I used that helped me was I screenshotted just a bunch of phrases and words and just put it as my screensaver. So if I was walking into a place or on my way somewhere, I can always just look at my phone and know what to say or how to say it. One thing that caught me by surprise before we even arrived to Athens was the fact that flushing toilet tissue down the toilet was an absolute no-go. And coming from the United States, that we do that all the time, right? I mean, that's the only way to use the bathroom. But we respected and understood that Athens has an older sewerage system. And so they will have signs in the public bathrooms, hotels, your Airbnb, everywhere where there's a toilet seat that will remind you and let you know that flushing toilet tissue down the toilet was prohibited and that we shouldn't do it. Now, I'm not going to point no elbows or, point nobody out, but there's been a few times where, you may, as an American, you may forget and do it once, but you never want to be that guy and be in a public bathroom or someplace in Athens and flush toilet tissue down the toilet and it overflows or everyone is pissed at you.
That didn't happen. It didn't happen. But it didn't happen, thank goodness. But it was an adjustment because, like Brandon said, we've been using the bathroom that way forever. So it was something that is like a habit or kind of like a muscle memory to us. We had to be intentional about. The bathrooms do come with garbage cans that you can put the tissue in instead of flushing it, and kind of think of it as like the same type of garbage can where you would put like a baby's diaper and it masked the smell of it. So it wasn't like you would still, smell what you just did in the bathroom. It still was very like fresh after you were done, depending on what you did.
Right, exactly.
But no, the trash cans did a really good job with masking the smell. So other than that, it just took a little minute to like adjust to having to use the bathroom in that way.
And with that, I will say Athens is very good about collecting trash as well. So as often as you like to take your trash out, they come and pick it up every few days or so. There's usually a few big dumpsters outside on the street on every corner or in the middle of the street. So you can just easily take your trash out and someone will pick it up every few days or so. So I found that super interesting and super thankful for that as well.
Yeah.
One other thing is the cats. You want to talk about the cats?
Yes.
Kay is a huge cat lover, and so being in Athens or just Europe, period, their appreciation and friendliness to cats is is
They're
it,
so sweet. Like,
they are some
um,
of them
yeah, some of them we did get
ran out of town. We were
no,
walking.
there was a cat. We were visiting a different neighborhood to just check it out to see if we wanted to live in it. And there was a cat that kind of just like ran up on us literally and just started meowing. And we just like, we don't want no
We don't want
problems.
no problem, no
We're
problems.
just here visiting. No, but I am a big cat lover. I do have a cat. My son Ralphie is with his grandma back home. I miss him dearly, but um they really take care of the cats in Athens, and we're also seeing that here in Istanbul too. Like they're very beloved here, so um, there are cats everywhere.
I like how how Athens citizens, like whether it's a business or a residence, like they will have food in bowls
Hmm.
laid out in the streets or outside on the sidewalk or by the steps for
Hmm.
cats to enjoy. And again, coming from back home where we have squirrels and rabbits everywhere, specifically the Midwest, it's exactly the same thing except a lot of cats everywhere.
We're not taking care of our squirrels though.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
At least not intentionally. They be in the trash cans and stuff like that. But
I
we're
go the
not.
opposite way when it comes to squirrels. I don't get in between squirrels
I
and
think it goes to
chickens.
show for, just how they are as a people to, be intentional about taking care of cats that don't necessarily belong to them. Like when we used to go on walks, we would see that they would even set up cat little community sections of houses and food and water and toys and stuff like that. So the cats felt like they didn't need for anything. So for them to look outside of themselves and take care of the cats like they were their own, I thought that was really sweet. And I love seeing them. They always put a smile on my face when I seen them, especially when we went to different businesses and they would have the kind of like the bodega cat that is
Yeah,
popular in on the East Coast. Like that's kind of like how it is here.
for sure. Absolutely. And speaking of, walking past cats all the time, Athens is it's a pretty walkable city where you
Mm-hmm.
can get anywhere. Me and Kay walked everywhere, whether it was the museum, coffee shops, different destinations within 20, 25, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in regards to being pedestrian friendly, it caught me by surprise how different it is when walking the streets of Athens and traffic and motorcycles. Like they will not stop for you
Mm-mm.
when you're walking and you arrive at the corner, just look both ways, and because they won't just stop and allow you to walk across the street, they will either keep going or, you know, um, how do you explain it?
I would say it as, we're used to like the pedestrian has the right of way. Like we're just,
In pretty much every city in the United States.
yeah, like the pedestrian usually has the right of way. So in Athens, when they're driving, and even if they see you on the corner, they see that you've been waiting to cross the street or get wherever, they're more so concerned about the cars that are coming than the people that are walking. So even though Athens is walkable, it's not necessarily pedestrian friendly because they're just trying to get to where they got to go. And the traffic can be a little difficult to navigate. I can see from a driver's standpoint because of how um, tight the streets are.
Yes.
So it's like their intention and focus on getting to where they have to go is different than like them caring about people that are walking. And I kind of get it, but it's just something to be mindful of if you decide to walk or if you like to walk. Like me and Brandon, that was another way that we learned the city like we did because we decided to be on foot and see as much as we could. And sometimes when you're riding, you may not be able to catch everything, but on foot, you can really, immerse yourself into the neighborhood. So, um, also in Athens, since we walked a lot, Athens has a lot of hills. There are a ton of hills. And it was something that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Like, we did look at other YouTube videos, and when we researched about Athens, we heard about the hills, but it's different when you're actually walking. So I will say that fitness wise, I appreciate it. It still took me a lot to adjust to, but I can definitely say I have a stronger core and legs and thighs. All of it is definitely getting more and more in shape.
For sure. Just backing up a little bit, one of the highlights that I would say when we arrived at Athens was celebrating my birthday.
Yes.
We arrived in Athens, I think, on the 9th, and my birthday was January 11th. And so it was our first time, again, riding the metro, and
Mm-hmm.
we rode it out to Monastiraki Square, which is right at the foot of the Acropolis, and the Athens Parthenon. And we had dinner at a restaurant, walked around, and it was one of the highlights of my time there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, it made me really appreciate the city, the beauty, the weather, getting dressed, everyone else's fashion, and just how busy it was. Imagine New York City when you come up from the metro, but there's like ancient monuments and
Yeah, I can
sites
see that.
that you can just walk past to get to your destination. It was super cool. It was super interesting.
Your birthday was one of the first things that we did to like get us out and exploring, because we went to a totally different neighborhood and popular place to see Athens. And the restaurants over there were great. I get what you're saying about it being kind of like that New York feel because it's full of people, but then it
Yeah.
has like that historic element to it. There's so many different restaurants. There's so many different places to shop.
The
Um,
birds were flying, the pigeons were flying around
yeah,
everywhere.
it's a magical place. If you are looking to shop or to eat good, but also get a feel of history, like you can go there and spend the day there, and you still wouldn't be able to see everything. Like, we visited Monastiraki a few times, and still,
Look at
I
you saying it right, pronouncing it
got
right.
yes,
I see.
finally,
I see.
I finally got it together. No, but it was one of my favorite places to visit. So that's why we frequented it. And we still were not able to see everything, shop everywhere. It was just a vibe.
For sure.
So when planning to live abroad, of course, we had to consider the most important thing is where we were going to stay. So we decided to use Airbnb as the platform to look for different options. We also looked into different hotels more so when we got into the city, but Airbnb was our first choice. We know that there are things that we are definitely going to have to adjust to and compromise with um, being from a different country and coming to another one, just because housing looks different, lifestyles look different. So that's something that we definitely had a conversation about. But all of that to say, when traveling abroad and you're staying somewhere, if you're using Airbnb, read the reviews, try to research the neighborhood as much as you can. It's kind of hard to do that though, especially if you've never been there before. You don't know until you really get there. So, if anything, just be open to pivot and to adjust. Um, have emergency funds just in case you have to wait for a refund, if you have to cancel a reservation or anything like that. Just leave some cushion for yourself to be able to adjust if need be. Luckily for us, we've been able to pivot when it comes to um, any living or Airbnb situations, just because we're learning as we go. But it's just something that we would recommend for anyone that may want to start a nomad journey or travel abroad and not stay at a hotel they may be familiar with.
For sure. But on the upside of that, there are many discounts and advantages for long stays.
Mm-hmm.
When we first imagined traveling to Athens, we booked the Airbnb for 2 months, I
Hmm.
believe. And we ended up staying there for, I think, 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, it was almost 2 weeks.
And but once we were there and needed to pivot, we were able to visit various neighborhoods and research them physically while we were in Athens to figure out what was the best fit for us. And when we had to pivot and go into our next Airbnb,
Mhm.
it was a great decision that we made, and I am definitely happy with the second Airbnb that we went into. The host was great.
Mhm.
He even paid us a visit and provided just a bunch of tips and provided knowledge for navigating Athens. We moved from, I believe, the outskirts of Athens in one neighborhood to central Athens, which
Mhm.
we were about 15, 20 minutes away from everything.
Mhm.
And even the neighborhood that we lived in provided so much culture and so much authenticity when it comes to how it feels living in Athens as a Greek. Another thing that I want to point out was, we celebrated some pretty cool like holidays and just days in Athens. For example, like Valentine's Day. I
Mhm.
think that was. By the way, we're 5 years in. If we didn't tell you guys or let you guys know in the beginning, but me and Kay, our relationship, we're 5 years in, and
Mhm.
so I think this Valentine's day was like top two, top if not the one.
I mean, we're in a totally different country, so yeah. It was an amazing Valentine's Day. Brandon and I are both history buffs. We love aesthetics and designs and architecture. So to celebrate Valentine's Day in one of the most ancient places in the world and go to the museum was one of my favorite Valentine's Days for sure. Like I'm trying to think about. I mean, the other ones were great, but this experience is just like,
It was like the perfect build up with
yeah.
us starting our nomad journey,
Hmm.
us doing it together as a couple, and falling in love with each other and maintaining that every single day. And so I wanted to really make sure it was special. And
Hmm.
so I researched what the Acropolis Museum would be like. And so I got us tickets for the day, and we just explored all of the ancient artifacts and
Hmm.
facts about the Acropolis and what was in it at the time when it was being built the first time, and
Hmm.
how the Persians came in and destroyed it, and it was rebuilt, and it provided, again, all of the details and history about Athens and the Greek goddess and what she provided for the land and the people, the
Hmm.
different wars, and we learned a lot and seen a lot. And ending the day there versus going someplace else for dinner and dining somewhere else. They had a great restaurant right on the third floor where they provided live music, and
Hmm.
okay, you had the sea bass and
Yeah, it was delicious. The dining experience was a vibe. I'm glad that we could spend the day there, especially when they had live music too. I love live music. You did that.
thank you,
You
thank
did
you. One
that.
side note I will say, being African American, and like Kay said, really loving ancient information and history.
Hmm.
A lot of our history is over here.
Hmm.
And not taking away from any of the museums in the United States, but you really can gain a different perspective of the people, our people, and our things that are in these museums
Hmm.
and what they look like um, thousands of years ago. What I've noticed that with a lot of the statues and artifacts, a lot of them had braids and coiled hair and things like that. So it was just amazing to see just some of the features of our people
It was interesting to see the influence of our people. I think one of the things that has been buried or hidden is how intelligent and um, forward thinking and innovative we've always been. So when you travel to historical places, you go to museums and you see all these ancient things and how they were built, and it's kind of just like you get to see and feel that we had a hand in that and we've always been very much that. So
Whether it's in the history books or scripture or
mhm,
not, it's evident that we've contributed, or our ancestors have contributed to building this world.
right.
Our last few days in Athens was bittersweet because we met so many great people, ate so much great food, and it was just bittersweet to realize that our stay was kind of coming to an end.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't be back, because when you are over in Athens, Greece, there is an area of countries there. It's called the Schengen area, where you are allowed to stay with just your passport for up to 90 days.
Hmm.
And those 90 days or 3 months, you can only stay within a 180-day period. So we wanted to be super strategic with the amount of time that we stayed over in the area.
Hmm.
And we want to, of course, explore more countries. So we left a little bit earlier. We spent about a month and a half in Athens
Hmm.
and decided to go to a country outside of the Schengen area. So places like France, um,
Italy,
Italy,
Spain.
all of those places are within that Schengen area.
Hmm.
But you get places outside of that, like Istanbul, Turkey, the UK, Marrakesh in Morocco,
Hmm.
places like that where you can go um, instead of using your whole 90 days. So we stayed in Athens for a month and a half, and we plan on returning to the Schengen area to explore a little bit more um, once we get ready. So, and again, it's 90 days with a U.S. passport
Hmm.
within a 180-day period.
Hmm.
And once your 90 days are over, you have to wait another 90 days before you can return. So
Right.
we want to return to maybe Greece, maybe whether that's Mykonos or Santorini,
Or
the
Crete.
islands, or Crete. Once it gets a little bit warmer, we
Hmm.
went to Athens, Greece in the off season, which is the winter, around November to March. And so we want to reserve our other month and a half for when things get a little bit more settled in Greece, because there was also an earthquake on the islands as well in the midst
Hmm.
of our stay. And so a lot of the people from the Greek islands were coming inland to
Hmm.
Athens and Thessalonica and the surrounding areas to escape that. So, again, we want to take some time to explore other countries and not use up our entire 90 days.
Yeah, we planned to stay in Athens for 2 months. We went to Athens with thinking, how can we, if we did decide to live here, what does that look like? Like, what would our experience be here for us personally and professionally? And I think with this nomad journey, what we're learning, because we're such structured people and we love to work, we love to be productive. But with that, it kind of conflicts with what a nomad journey actually is. So when we were in Athens for the first month, we realized like, hey, we kind of know at this point that we don't necessarily want to live here long term, and also that's not what the nomad experience is. It is about traveling and visiting to as many places as possible and not looking to settle right away. So I think moving forward, our nomad journey is going to look a little differently, knowing that we can, you know, basically travel and experience as many different countries as possible, God willing, budget willing,
Right.
God willing and budget willing, and just see what we like. We do hope to find a place that resonates with us, that we would want to live there and attempt to apply for a visa and make a life in that country. But for now, we're kind of just like having a good time and,
Absolutely.
seeing what's out there, what's outside of America.
Getting our rest as
Yes.
well. That's a big thing for us, but it's also something to be transparent that we're struggling with as far as balancing. We're so used to having a certain rhythm when it comes to our creativity and our personal businesses and work. And so our work ethic is like super extreme. So just being here and resting has been something that we're learning to do and find balance in. And in the midst of all of that, it's also tough to just also still be in the know what's going on in the United States and back home. So we would like to pray for all of our friends and family and everyone who's struggling in the United States with even something as small as buying eggs, right? Not even to be funny, but we just wish the best for everyone, and we can continue to sustain this journey and opportunity to live in a different country and understand there are many ways of lives that are being lived in this world. And we appreciate everyone embracing us and embracing who we are as we immerse ourselves in their culture.
Being on this nomad journey, and being this far away from home for this long, we are learning what community looks like for us now, especially with how involved we are with our family and our friends, and also most of our friends being creatives, or with us curating events. We were used to being around a lot of people and building community in that way. So now that we are abroad and it's just us two, and we're, finding our spots that we frequent, for as long as we were in Athens. We really appreciate the people that welcomed us. We really appreciate the people that helped us and gave us different options to either try to go eat or things that we needed to do. Like, people were very welcoming to us. So we definitely want to shout out the restaurant and the places that we went to, where we met people that were near and dear to us.
And frequented. So, with all that being said, if you haven't forgotten, or if you have forgotten, like, subscribe, and hopefully we can provide more videos and see you in our future vlogs. So, thank you. This is Miles and Moments. I'm Brandon Dominique.
And I'm Kayla. Did you put it on cinematic?
Mm-mm.
Do you think we should? Dog. I'm not about to play with you. Should we introduce ourselves? Like, are we at that point? I'm Kayla. He's Brandon. Welcome to our channel. Is that too much?
Hello, everyone.
Everyone?
All right.
Hey everyone, new subscribers, day ones, and anyone that's just clicking on this video because we're giving pros, cons, and tips on how to be Black in Athens. Sorry.
That was not part of the script.
In Athens, Greece. Athens, Greece. Athens, Greece. Say it with me.
Athens, Greece.
Thank you.
I think say it with you. Are you ready to be serious?
No.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Go. You got it. You press record, right?
Yes.
I don't know about you. It's on me.
Like,
I'm clipping all this shit in here. Stuff. Hey y'all. Nope. See. Bro, why? Why is that just like the thing to say?
they gonna ban us.
No, they not. Do you see what type of stuff is on YouTube?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, we only had the intro?
We have an hour before our flight. Well, not before our flight, but before we have to be at the airport.
Bro, you scared the shit out of me.
You know what time it is. Dude.
Okay.
Say, okay. Go ahead.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Brandon.
And I'm Kayla.
The moment.
Nope, can't do it.
You are so goofy. I thought I would be the goofy one, but you are the goofy
Oh
one.
my God, I don't know what it is. I'm probably like sleep deprived. I want to say like, I got it. Hold on. Okay. I want to say, hey y'all, so bad. Okay. Howdy. Okay. I gotta get my. I gotta get it out.